on, everybody? Welcome to Beyond the Scare. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm one of your hosts, Danny Royce. I'm joined by my brother. What's good, Pauly?
Going on, everybody?
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for dropping in, all my horror fans, joining your favorite scare experts as we dive into all things horror. Super excited about today's episode. We got a special one for y'all. But before we get into it, please go ahead and drop that subscribe and also the thumbs up on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Beyond the Scare. And if you're listening to Spotify, go ahead and drop a comment. Let us know where you're coming from, where you're listening from. And let's get into it, Paul.
Let's do it. So, today's episode, we are going to dive into the world of the major horror movie trope, the final girl.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
So, I'm going to start off here. I'm going to kind of talk about, I guess I'm going to give, some qualities what I think a good final girl should, display, I guess you would say, right?
Yeah, let's know. Let's know. What are they?
So, number one, a final girl has to be smart. All right.
Mm,
Definitely.
yes.
Number
Yes.
two, a final girl has to be resourceful. You know,
Woo,
you got to be
woo. Yeah,
resourceful. That's a
gotta
must.
be.
And number three for me is the lungs, right? The scream, right?
Ah, ah.
So I want to be clear here. And there is some confusion amongst, the horror world, you know. So we can't get scream queens confused with final girls,
Oh, yeah, yeah. You
right?
can't do that.
Right. So like all final girls can typically be scream queens, but not all scream queens can be final girls,
That part.
right?
That part.
So we got to keep it straight here. And the last thing, which is something that I don't know, maybe it started off as a theme, and I kind of think goes well with the whole final girl, like I guess you would say persona would be she has to be a bit reserved, right?
Mm,
She can't be, that like slutty character,
yeah,
that
yeah,
you see, right? We typically
exactly.
don't see that. So I mean, those are typically the characteristics I think a final girl should exhibit. What about you, Danny?
Those are amazing. I gotta second that. What he said. Okay. Uh also I must add that, like you said, they can't be that type of character. That's the slut or the nerd. Well, they can be the nerdy one, but like not the dangerous one, right? But also the beloved character.
Yeah.
They're typically you fall in love with them. You want them to. You're rooting for them.
Yeah.
We're all rooting for you. So it's just like it's they have that behavior as well. And typically they're gonna be good, easy on the eyes. They're gonna be someone. I mean,
Gotta
they're
be
gonna
attractive.
be someone that's attractive.
Yeah.
That you would want to watch an entire hour and a half on screen. So
Yeah.
um, yeah. So an important part of the story to move the story forward. Um, and so this is the thing, though, right here, right?
Uh-oh.
Does the final girl always have to live? And that's something we can discuss in this episode. So, you know what I mean? We got a lot to dig into.
That is a good point, Danny, which we will address, right? So, for all our viewers out there, let's kind of dive into how the final girl trope title came to be, right? So,
Mm,
for everyone out there, pretty sure, like we already discussed, they know final girl is one of the major tropes of the horror genre, used commonly in slasher films, right? So, in the simplest terms, she is the sole survivor or the main character survivor of a killer's bloody murder spree. So, the term final girl was first coined and explored in depth by Professor Carol J. Clover in
mhm,
1987, one of her papers. It was titled Her Body, Himself, Gender in the Slasher Film, which
mm,
later she expanded upon in 1992 in a book called Men, Women, and Chainsaws: Gender in the Modern Horror Film, right? Which I read a little bit of these. It's actually great. But Clover, she wrote, a final girl is intelligent, watchful, level headed, the first character to sense something amiss, and the only
Mhm.
one to deduce from the accumulating evidence the patterns and extent of the threat. The only one, in other words, whose perspective approaches our own privileged understanding of the situation.
I love it.
You know, right then and
I
there.
mean,
That's pretty much it,
we're
right?
we were once again spot on. I love
I mean,
that.
it's said so like eloquently too. Like I love
It
the way she put
is.
that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it's true. You know,
It's
I mean, if
years
you
of
look at
studying.
yeah, if you look at, I mean, the final girls that we are going to discuss, but then others out there and everything, they usually are one of the first ones to be like, all right, something's not right. You know what I
Right,
mean?
exactly.
Which goes
They're
back
not the
to the
dumb ones.
intelligent.
Yeah, exactly. Like we said, they're not going to be the dumb ones or the slutty ones.
Yeah.
No.
So to kind of go further, she said she is kind of like what we said, like reserved. You said kind of the good one. So she is the good one of the group. She doesn't do drugs. She doesn't drink. She doesn't have sex or wear revealing clothing.
Right.
Now, which we're also going to discuss, obviously, the final girl image has changed over the years from what it
Of
started.
course.
You've seen final girls in really revealing clothing now, and they may be
Yeah.
drinking and stuff like that, but it's never to the same extent of the other characters in the movies, right?
No, usually not. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the whole
So
sex part, whole
yeah,
sex part, even if they have sex, it's like towards the end of the film, and then people are gonna die. Like
yeah, right. A couple of people already
that's
dead.
right. All right, that's good. I like that.
Definitely. So yeah, we definitely can thank Carol J. Clover for coining the term final girl because it still stands strong today.
Yep.
And it's evolving, of course, but the core elements of, the what a final girl is still there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So for our viewers today, we got something special for you. We are going to discuss our top three final girls
Let's go. Top three.
and one honorable mention.
Ah, and honorable mention. Yeah, we gotta throw one out there.
Can't forget that. All right, so I am going to hand it off to Danny. Who's our first pick?
Well, our first pick, and we were talking about earlier, that um, you know, not all scream queens can be final girls. But this just happens to be one of those characters who just happen to be both. Because we got Miss Jamie Lee Curtis, all right, the infamous character Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, Halloween 1978.
Let's go.
Okay, man,
The
let me tell you
OG.
about this. The OG. First and foremost, I want to get your first, if you can remember, feeling when you watched Halloween and you saw Jamie and her performance. How did you feel the first time you saw it?
Yeah, I'll be honest. The thing that sticks out in my head is probably maybe with most people, but it's the closet scene.
Yes,
When she is at the bottom of the closet, like screaming and trying to fight off Michael, and he's just like tearing up those hangers trying to get to her. Like
right.
that part is just crazy. And I mean, her performance in the entire movie was just great.
I mean, incredible her performance. And then, okay, so you know, obviously we gotta dig into the 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 actor, but to start with the character first, right? So Laurie Strode, what do you think was like? Because we had talked about it in a previous episode, the kind of whole revamp of Halloween, right? So the storyline of Laurie and Michael, right? And they finally meet, brother and sister, they finally meet. H2O, amazing, right?
hands
Resurrection
down.
comes, resurrection comes, Dunzo, all that. Revamp again. Now we got this whole situation, a different Laurie Strode and Michael have a different relationship, all this stuff. And then we, end up with Halloween Ends. How did you feel when that whole transition happened?
Uh, so it's weird because Halloween is one of those movies like when you think of it, you just automatically think of Jamie Lee. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So even when it like rebooted and everything, the Ram Zombie film and all that stuff. I mean, it's cool to watch if you're a Halloween fan, but you just always think of Jamie Lee Curtis. Um, and just the first one is just such a classic. Second one, her performance now is good too. H2O, like, come on.
amazing. Hands down. Best
Like,
one, favorite one.
and I
Yeah,
mean, and just like she embodies, she pretty much embodies everything that a final girl should be. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, and resurrection, everything, the death and everything. I mean, it's just, I mean, I get the wrap up to the story, but I mean, I don't think I'm glad it didn't hurt in there. There was the revamp and everything there because I felt like Halloween Ends is where it should have ended and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah. No, yeah, I definitely think so too. That would have been such a great finish. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And if they did revamp it, like, let's just take Lori out the picture altogether and let's, have like just a whole story. Because just to bring it back to Halloween's ends and then not deliver an ending scene, like an ending fight scene that we were just like so ready for.
right,
And it's
right,
this little tussle in the kitchen. I'm just like, I can't. Um,
right.
but yeah, I agree with you on that. So let's talk about Jamie Lee Curtis outside of being a final girl outside of Halloween. So, you got Terror Train, you got Prom Night, one of our favorites.
Yes.
Um, so this is like I said earlier, like a scream queen, also final girl. And not everybody can hold to the both like she can. Like it's
Mm-mm.
crazy.
No,
It's
like
real.
I said, she's the OG, and
She is.
and just Jamie Lee Curtis as an actress in general. I mean, she's obviously done like things outside of horror, which she's phenomenal
Yeah,
in as well. What I mean? We were just talking
everything.
about earlier the parent was it House Arrest? We were
House
just talking about
arrest,
that.
house arrest, true lies.
True
We
Lies. We
were
were
talking
talking
about
about that.
earlier. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, this
Freakier
Freaky
Friday that just
Friday,
came out and stuff like
Freakier
that.
Friday.
Um,
It's
so I
so
mean,
many out there.
she's a great actress in general, but I just feel like I don't know. I feel like horror is her home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, having your mother being Janet is kind of pretty crazy, So it's like that's your rite of passage, honestly.
Yeah,
The
right,
first Scream Queen.
right.
Yeah, there was that. Yeah, I love. Yeah, we had to talk about her. Had to talk about Jamie Lee Curtis, and
Definitely.
yeah, I
And
second everything you said. With that being said, let's move on to our
yes,
second final girl, and who is
second
that?
second final girl. So our second final girl is Miss Nancy Thompson, played
Hey,
by Heather Langley Cap of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, specifically 1984. First one came out.
specifically.
Danny, what do you think about Nancy? Like, what stood out to you that made Nancy a final girl?
Honestly, every single thing we talked about. She was the kind one. She was reserved. Um she was smart. She was like thinking the first person to know that something's up. You know what I mean?
Mm.
She was very aware of her surroundings, yet kind of like innocent. Yeah,
Yeah.
she wanted Johnny Depp. You know what I mean? It was just, but it was just like an innocent type thing. So, um, and just in that house, you know what I mean? It's perfect place for you, Nancy, to be in to be at home. And that's your home, Freddie. So, um, yeah, when that first Nightmare on Elm Street, the scene that always gets me, that I always remember, right, is the scene of him coming out of the wall over her head, right?
Yes. Yep.
That's iconic. It's like the poster and all that,
Yep. Their
but
marketing. Yep.
yeah, it was used in marketing. That one in the body drag, that one always gets. I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, wow. Um,
Yeah.
it's just Nancy's dope. I like Nancy. She's one of those final. She's like probably the most innocent final girl I know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just here to help. Like that. It's like, oh my God. I would say Julie, it's almost close, but but it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, yeah. Nancy's is a great character. What I know she was your like first one of your first horror crushes, right?
Yeah.
Final girl horror crushes. So I know you have some good things to say about good old Nancy.
Yes. I love me some Nancy slash Heather. Um,
Yeah, right.
but yeah, I co-sign everything you say. Nancy, like, she was very intelligent, but she also had like this kind of like naive, like side to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it played perfectly in like the delivery of Nancy.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, what made her a great final girl for me, like I said, I co-sign what you said, but also that um she 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 wouldn't let anything go. You know what I mean? She like when something didn't feel right to her, she wanted to investigate it, take it further, see what's going on, try
Yeah.
to, she was like it's almost like true crime. Like, let me figure this out, you know what I mean?
Right.
And she basically was fearless. And I mean, as a final girl, you have to be fearless, but a lot of final girls don't start off being fearless. They're kind of like scared and stuff, but when they're pushed up
Exactly.
against the wall, that's when they're like, all right, I got this. And that's when the whole
Hmm.
final girl aspect comes out. She ends up
Right.
defeating the monster or the killer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, Nancy didn't really have that. Like in the original, like not at all. Even like when Tina was telling her, that about the dream and stuff, the nightmares, she's like, she obviously they were scared. They were like, I saw that, they're talking about Freddie and stuff like that. But I felt like she like took it head on. And I think that's what kind of like separates her from like other final girls. For me, anyway.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that.
Mhm.
What we'll talk about I guess the maturity of Nancy, right? As she got older, as she started mentoring other people,
Mhm.
going through the same thing.
All right.
Um, I love how Heather took that character, and really brought out like the elements of where like she's like, okay, that warrior, that final girls become. I like how she slowly became that as they brought Nancy back into the
Mhm.
franchise. We saw the growth and we saw like the no nonsense BS part
Right.
of Nancy.
Mhm.
So I like how Heather really encompassed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is very important for, Final Girl too. If they're going to come back, um, I think it's important to show growth because,
Mm,
I mean, if you're going to go through something as traumatic as that, like either, you end up in a mental institution for the rest of your life or
right.
you figure out how to get stronger and evolve and like, take care of yourself or like, how to handle situations like that and become more of like a stronger person, like all around.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
and I agree. Um, Nancy did that pretty well. I mean, even as a final girl, as they typically defeat their villain, obviously there's that strength in itself at the end anyway, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But after that is typically, what we don't see. Um, in some situations, like a direct continuation of Halloween 2 when, Laurie went into the hospital and stuff. But,
Hmm.
you don't see that like kind of growth and everything, Flash forward, for example, I know we're talking about Nancy now, but Laurie's a good example in this situation. Flash forward to H2O,
Yeah.
she faked her death
There
and
all
everything.
those
We don't
years.
see all that, you know what I mean? We just see who she is
Yeah.
now. So, that's very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah. But Nancy, yeah, Nancy in the third one, do Dream Warriors, shoot, she was a beast. I
Oh
still
man.
I still don't like what they did. she could have survived. They did not have to do that. I know why they did it.
Right.
Um, but I mean, I guess at this point we should talk about because Nancy was one of the first final girls to be. I mean, that's debatable because there's Adrian King who in was at Friday the 13th, who was the final girl in one. She came back in like for 2 seconds in two before
Yeah.
Jason killed
Yeah.
her. So I
Before
mean, that don't
then.
really count. You know, Nancy, she came back for the third one for the entirety of the movie, and then they killed her off. So, um, what do you think? Like, can you be a great final girl if you're killed off?
that's what the question we rose at the beginning, right? So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, she has everything a final girl has. Yes, but she was only technically in only two, you know, movies of the franchise. But there was so much that passed. Then you have the new Nightmare, right?
Hmm.
But which was amazing, and that's like I guess more in the real world
Yeah.
aspect,
Scenario.
which was great. I love
Uh-huh.
that one too. But you talked about the actual franchise, the Nightmare on Elm Street with Freddy, and then how many years that passed. I mean, to me, she earned that crown. I mean, you know what I'm saying? She went through everything that the final girls go through.
Yeah.
She had all the characteristics.
Yeah.
So I feel like yes, in her case, yes, he can be killed off and still be that it. That
And still be
it.
that. I agree with you. So for me, I feel like when you're looking at a final girl, I feel like you have to be there like from the inception of the franchise. In my opinion. So I mean, obviously, like if you look at this franchise, for example, Alice, who was, basically the final girl for from 4 to 5, right? And she actually
Yeah,
lived. Like, yeah, she's a final girl, but I feel like that's secondary to Nancy because Nancy basically, when you think of Freddy Krueger, you think of Nancy because Nancy was the one
right,
who fought him first, who defeated him first,
right,
who
right.
basically
That's
is the
exactly
bane
it.
to Freddy's existence.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, when I think of like Final Girl, I think of like the original, the inception of the franchise, and if you embodied what a Final Girl was or is, and I think she did that perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah. The origin, I think, has
Yep.
to go with you. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's a
That should have been
perfect
yeah.
spot
We-
spot on way to say,
Yep.
yeah. Because I feel the same, yeah, definitely the same way. And like you said, there are different in different franchises, you do have kind of like a secondary final girl, sometimes even maybe a third,
And
depending
sometimes
on
a final guy.
a final. Yeah, there you go. We jump in gender. Somebody be the final
Yeah.
girl, sometimes. So in the same movie.
Right. Right.
But yeah, so okay, there. I like that.
All
All
right.
right,
So let's get to our next pick, Danny.
let's get it. Let's
All
get
right.
it.
So our final pick is
No. We're gonna talk about Miss Sydney Prescott. Hey,
hey.
played by none other than Neve Campbell herself. 1996 Scream was her just amazing debut into horror. Granted, she's Neve Campbell has done some amazing films outside of Scream, but man, Scream blew it up for
Yeah.
her. Okay.
And I mean, was it the year before she did the craft, or was that the year after? It might have been. I think
Uh,
it was the year before.
yeah,
No,
the Craft was the same year,
it was the same
96.
year. That's right. Yep.
Yeah, same exact year. And then I remember she 2 years later was Wild Things because I remember
Yeah.
our sister used to love that movie. Uh,
With
oh, but man. Yeah, and so let's get into Sidney Prescott. I want you to start off with this because Sidney touches a great spot in your heart.
I'm a Sidney Prescott fan. Um, so I
So
mean,
talk to us a little bit about how you feel about Sydney and
yeah,
how just her progression in this franchise.
yeah. So I mean, let's start off by saying that for our viewers that don't know, um, Nev Campbell was not originally cast to play Sidney Prescott.
Hmm.
Drew Barrymore was.
Yeah,
So um, there were some scheduling conflicts, and Drew had to turn that position down. So she ended up playing, as we know, the iconic Casey Becker role, who got murdered like 15 minutes in the movie.
right.
So Nev
Brutally
Campbell, Nev Campbell got the
murdered.
role of Sydney. And honestly, I cannot picture Drew in that role. Like I just can't. Like no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't do it. Nev Campbell did such a phenomenal job at this role, like just playing like the wounded, um, like um, uh, despaired, because obviously she had lost her mother before. Her dad
Hmm.
was hardly never home, ever home, and
Yeah,
just like high school student, just trying to stay afloat. You know what I mean? Suffering this tragedy and everything, having reporters constantly talking to her. I mean, that just like what she did in that role was phenomenal. And then how it started from obviously being stalked by Ghostface, having breakdowns, and then ultimately facing Ghostface and her fear, and killing them. Both of them really.
right, right.
Um, I thought it was a great start to Sydney Prescott, and then we have the second one, where she's in college, which is phenomenal.
Yeah,
Still, I love it. You brought up progression. Like I love Sydney's progression, maybe more so than any other final girl, because
yeah,
it's you it's like it's one of those she's one of those final girls that you actually see the progression. Because
yeah,
like I mentioned
yeah,
before, like with Halloween H2O, you don't see that happening. Like in the second one, you still see her kind of still like timid, still like scared, afraid of everything, kind of, but slowly by the end, again, she becomes stronger and stronger. The third one, still you still see it, right? You still
yeah,
see her slowly trying to become stronger, overcome everything. Because by the fourth one, she's a new person, right?
yeah.
She's like, what was her book called? Out of the Darkness.
Out of the
Like it
darkness,
was
yeah.
apparent that like she was not going to be a victim anymore, and it showed throughout the entirety of that movie. Fifth one, more so. You know what I mean?
I agree.
But yeah, dude, phenomenal, phenomenal, final girl. What you guys say about it, Danny?
Man, I second everything you just said. Um, yeah. Well, I mean, I was just thinking about when you were saying it, what a great time to be alive. Like we grew up in the I mean, now you got seven, and sixes and eights of numbers of things coming out, but like we were right in the trenches when it started.
Yeah,
And so the
yeah,
iconic, and Scream is just one of the iconic franchises that started around that time. But um yeah, it's just so nostalgic just thinking about three and the Hollywood and
yeah.
the like, and like just Cotton really like all the characters you grew to just love and watch over the years.
Love and hate,
Um, what's that?
love and hate.
Oh, love and hate, right? um, and yeah, Sydney is just one of those iconic characters. If you are talking about horror, you have to mention
Mm-hmm.
Sydney's
Facts,
name.
facts.
I mean, there's no way around it. She's a final girl that just keeps giving because she keeps fighting. She keeps fighting. Like she's
Keeps
not
giving.
dead and she's not dying anytime soon.
No, Sydney will not die. She said, nope.
Right.
You can kill everybody else around
Um,
her, but she living.
and everybody else around her, she's a walking, Grim Reaper. But other than that, like, yeah, no, I love, and then like you said, Nev Campbell did such an amazing job. She's just so fun to watch and acting anyway.
Mm.
The Crafts, one of our movies, like
Oh yeah,
man, and
good
she
old
just
body.
Nev also just does really well at hurting people that are hurting. Like just because her character and Craft, they're just hurting for something was just you know that deep
Yeah,
uh inner hurt. She's just
yeah,
so good at captivating that in her character.
that's true.
Um, and I must say, uh, Sydney had some of the best chase scenes. I
Mm,
mean, of any final girl out there. I mean, I gotta put that
I
out there.
co-sign that.
I, I mean, it just gotta be said. So
Yeah, definitely.
that's it. Drop the mic.
And I mean, and that's something we didn't add, but that's definitely true. To be a great final girl, you have to give a good chase scene. you got you got to give it.
It's always gonna be a chase scene. Like you gotta give it. That's
You
one of the
got
things
to.
for us.
It can't be no fake bull. Like you got to deliver. And Sydney always deliver.
Yeah, she do. She do.
Man,
That's definitely a prerequisite. All right. Well, that was our top three final girls. Let us know what y'all think in the comments. If you think we missed somebody, you think somebody should be on that list. Um, we do have an honorable mention, and we're
but
gonna get
you
into
know,
that.
before we do the honorable mention, Danny, though, I want to because Danny and I talked about, we picked our three final girls, our top three final girls,
Yep,
but we didn't rank them.
we did.
So I want to see where we rank our final girls our from number one, who we think the best final girl is, to the third. All right. So, Danny, I want to start off with you. Who would you say
Okay.
that let's just go with third. Who would you say is the third best?
The third best. Okay. Well, how we how we named them was originally how they debuted, right?
Yeah.
So the audience knows. So that's why
Yeah.
we started with Jamie.
So the way we listed them, it was by how their franchise debuted. So Halloween 1978, Nightmare on Elm Street 1984, Scream 1996.
Right. So I would say my third one is gonna have to go to Nancy Tom.
Hey,
Yeah.
all right.
I love me some Nancy, but third one's gotta go to her. What about
Yeah.
you?
So, and I may be booed for this one. I may
Oh,
be booed for it. But for number three, for me, has to go to Laurie Strode.
oh, yeah. You boo, tomatoes, tomatoes,
And
tomatoes.
I'm gonna explain though. When I talk about my second, I'm gonna explain. All right. So I mean, I
Uh-uh.
guess I'll just go to my second, then you can go to your second. All
So I
right.
already know what your second is.
Yeah. So my second, my second pick is gonna be Nancy Thompson. So
Yeah.
the only reason I picked Nancy ahead of Lori because Nancy faced basically a demonic entity, right? Freddy is this demonic nightmare creature who, I mean, is more dangerous than Michael Myers. Michael Myers is brutal, yeah, but Freddy Krueger is a demon who can kill you in your dreams. So that's the only reason I felt that like her being what she dealt with in the movie to face Freddy was a little bit more than what Laurie Strode dealt with in the. And I'm strictly talking about the first ones. So Halloween, the original, and then Nightmare on Elm Street, the original. So that's
Uh-huh.
why I did
Okay. Okay. I see.
that.
Um, okay. My second one was Laurie Strode
Okay.
because, all right. Um, I see what you're saying about Nancy's case. But in Lori's case, okay, I don't know what happened with Nancy through that whole break that she had, and then she came back to three, right? I don't know if Freddie was still messing with her. I don't think he was, but I think she beat her. But I don't think so. I think
Oh my
I
god.
think she beat her.
Oh, that was funny.
So, but we look at Lori, like she could not shake, like Michael was like a little dog humping her leg. She couldn't shake him off. Like that's the only reason why I was saying it, because it's like we go years, 20 years, and you still
That's true. That is true.
and, and you still fight this, like you know what I mean? So that's why I had to go with Lori.
That's
Just
funny.
because I thought about the longevity and and then of course I had to give it to her because Scream Queen too. Like I just had to put the cherry on top.
Cherry on top. Yeah. And
You still
obviously, we know what our
die.
number one is.
Our number one goes to Sydney
Prescott,
Prescott.
Miss Nev Campbell,
Mel Campbell, number one final girl.
number
We gotta
one.
get her on here.
Yeah, she kills it. I mean, self-explanatory. We don't even need to explain that.
Don't even need to.
All right, Danny.
Don't
So
even
let's
need
talk
to.
about our honorable mention.
Honorable mention, yes.
I'm
This is
actually,
definitely
yeah, I'm excited about our
somebody
honorable
that you
mention.
have brought up. Yeah.
Yeah,
So let's get into it.
yeah. So I brought up this particular final girl, and Danny co-signed on it.
I
So we
did.
decided to make it as honorable mention. So our honorable mention is Sienna Shaw, played by Lauren Lavera from Terrifier.
Man,
And
man.
to start off, because obviously something we mentioned before about the final girl having to be there from the origin, inception, everything. Obviously, Sienna was not there for the first Terrifier.
Right.
However, I feel that she is such an intricate part of the storyline now from her debut in the second one that she has to get some type of recognition.
I agree.
Yeah,
Hence the honorable mention.
exactly. Hence the honorable mention. So, Danny, what do you think about Sienna as a final girl?
Man. So, I mean, she checks everything off, right? She does have a little more, like we said, Final Girls have evolved over the years. She's a newer age Final Girl, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? The other, our top threes, they're OGs. So, she's really stepping in for the new age, and she's got a little spunk to her, you know what I mean? She will tell you to F yourself. So, so I love her. She's beautiful.
Yeah, gorgeous,
Lauren Lavera.
gorgeous.
um, and yeah, I think dealing with what she deals with what the clown is, we just start. I mean, man, it's an evil clown, demonic clown, like just disgusting, just treacherous. It's ridiculous what she did. Like
Yeah,
it's crazy. If you even survive him, it's insane. Like,
yeah,
you see the things he does, it's crazy. So I kudos. When you brought her up, I said I did too. I was like, terrifying question mark. I was like that. I just want to make sure that's the scene he talking about. He's like, yeah. I said, okay, yeah,
yeah,
let's do it.
yeah. And I mean, when she was introduced to us, I mean, yep, she was definitely, more outspoken. She'd tell you about yourself in a second. But she was still
I love
kind
her.
of, reserved in a way,
Yeah,
as you can
oh yeah,
see
definitely.
between compared to her friend,
Hmm.
and offering when they're offering her drugs and stuff, and all that.
Yeah,
So she still fits that final girl trope, definitely.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and now, as we see in Terrifier 3, actually what Art the Clown is, um, that makes it even more obviously terrifying, right?
Exactly.
He's like
Right.
just,
Now we know what she's up against.
this demon that encompass this particular clown. So yeah, definitely she deserved an honorable mention because she kicked ass.
Yeah,
She
she
did
did.
work. She
She
holds
really
her own,
did.
definitely.
She definitely, yeah, definitely holds her own. And a few little chase scenes in there too. You
Mhm.
know what I mean?
Yeah, but
That's a
she
fight.
yeah. She's a fighter though. So
She is a fighter.
props to her.
Definitely. Good honorable mention.
All right. So
Well,
that wraps up our final girl selection, our top three with our honorable mention. I hope that every one of you know who those final girls are. If not, go check out those franchises immediately.
yes. Yeah. What are you doing?
What are you doing with your life? All right, so now we're going to talk about upcoming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
upcoming films that, like we mentioned, every episode this year just keeps bringing us back to back more and more good horror films to check out. So we did talk a little bit about Richport on our last episode. I just feel like we have to address
You said you didn't
y'all,
want to.
y'all. I just wanted to, because we can't just leave it hanging from the
Right.
last episode. So y'all go and see at your own risk. I mean, it's not even in theaters anymore. It had one showtime in one day
I keep snorting.
for like 2 days or three
I
days, and
can't,
then it was
like,
out. I'm like,
y'all.
what is going on right
I
now?
don't know
It literally had one showtime for 3 days in a row.
I don't know if any of our viewers actually tried to go see it or not, but he is not lying. Like that
It
Friday,
was
Saturday,
wild.
Sunday, it was, and it was like a midnight show. It's like 11 o'clock or something in the smallest theater with 5 seats. I
I'm just
can't.
like, what is going on? What is going on? So,
Oh man.
oh man, so I was able to see a little bit of it. And you guys just don't. Just don't. Now that that's out the way, we do have a great one that we're actually very excited to see, called Run. Oh, let's get into Run.
All right. Woo. All right. So Run is a sci-fi horror. Y'all, I'm sorry. I gotta get it together. Oh man, we a mess. All right.
Okay, we're good. We're
All right,
back
we're
in
getting
it.
it
We're
together.
back.
All right, y'all, for
We're
real.
back.
Upcoming film Run is coming
Yes.
out this Friday. It's a
Let's
sci-fi
get it.
horror thriller, and it's about this woman named Melissa who, after a failed wedding, goes on a girls' trip with her friends to a cabin in the woods, only for their getaway to turn into a terrifying experience when they encounter a mutilated body and a national alien invasion, forcing
Mm.
them into a fight for survival. How does that sound, Danny?
Um, it sounds pretty tasty. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, okay. It sounds like I may have seen that movie before,
Right?
but
Right. A couple times, right?
a couple of times. But I'm just hoping that the execution, we were talking about this earlier. I was hoping, and we're hoping that it's a good amount of corny and a good amount of just being good, right?
Yeah.
We have those movies like we talked about on The Blackening. And there's other movies.
Oh,
They're
Black
corny,
Badass.
yeah, but corny, but good. And I'm just hoping that's what this is.
Yeah, I agree. So it's directed by Chris Stokes, who has had some good movies out there.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
it was written by him as well as Marquise Houston, singer songwriter. But he's also
Yeah,
done a lot of directing too and writing.
yeah, yeah. He's done some direct. He's worked with Chris Stokes, obviously on You Got Served
Yep.
and some other stuff too. So they're back together doing their thing. Let's check out the trailer. You want to see the trailer?
Let's do it.
This is the emergency broadcast system. If you are hearing this message, we are alerting you that we now know these metallic ships are alien.
Ready or not, here I come.
their prey. And God bless America.
Man. Okay.
Oh, interesting. Okay, it definitely looks interesting. Those aliens are ripped.
Right. They look like they just came from the gym, got a good workout in.
They didn't miss. They didn't miss a day. Okay. Yeah, they. I am like, how are these people gonna get away from these aliens? They're like, and they're crazy. I mean,
Right.
okay. So first off, um, I don't know. It just for me. Okay. Like they kind of look similar to the ones on the signs, right? From signs.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. But it's like that whole aspect of showing the creature too soon. It takes away like the scary element of it. Does it make sense?
It makes
Um,
perfect sense.
yeah, so I don't know. It just for me, it's already like, okay, well, I already know what this thing looks like. Okay. So, you know what I mean?
And
So
like,
that's why I hope it's got some better like chase scenes and better like that type of stuff to keep me on the edge of my seat.
yeah. I feel like to kind of expound upon that, I feel especially with alien movies,
Yes.
um, I feel that the mystery is where what makes it scary. You know what I
Yes.
mean? You see that there's this entity or this alien invasion, whatever, but the ones that execute it perfectly, like you said, you don't see them for, probably half the movie.
Right.
Or if you do see them, it's like, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's not blatant, here's the alien chasing
Hmm.
after you, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I feel like that's important, especially for alien movies, because with alien movies, I feel like it's gonna be a hit or miss,
It
you know?
really is. There's no in
So
between. There's no in
yeah,
between with
so
aliens.
so that's I feel like you said, like by them doing that too soon, um, I feel like I don't know. I hope it doesn't flop, but it kind of reminds me. Do you know that one movie? What's his name? Um, Matt Rife. So it was called
Okay.
Trapped In. Have you ever seen that?
Chapped in. No, I haven't. I
So
haven't seen it.
so it's basically like him, and it's basically, what are they? They're like a cycling crew or something. I think they like cycle across the country on tournaments or whatever. But they end up going to this cabin and being stuck there because there's basically this they end up being aliens, but they're basically like making people disappear and like
Mm,
killing them or whatever. And so they're stuck in the house. And if they go outside, it's like this mist shows up. If you get caught in the mist, you're pretty much dead.
gotcha.
So that's literally what it reminds me of. But in there, I mean, the movie wasn't great, but it was at least more mysterious because all you see is this like cloudy figure.
Yeah,
This, you don't know what's going on until like the end. As opposed to here,
right.
you're like, oh, these are like
It's
some bodybuilding aliens that are pretty much gonna kill you.
right, exactly. It's like, I don't know. It takes that mysterious away, like Mist, or The Mist, that movie,
Yeah,
which that was a great one too, you
that
know.
is a
And they're
phenomenal
actually,
movie, actually.
yeah, and they're
Like
actually
even the
like
remake, like
the remake
the
was great too,
yeah,
yeah.
at the end, oh my
Um,
god, like and then you see how big they are.
gosh,
Finally, it's crazy.
it's crazy. The ending scene, insane.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, and then we have like Cloverfield, you know, even you didn't see really it. You still didn't see it till it's like the end of the movie. You finally got a glimpse.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just that was the whole thing that kind of threw me for a loop. But like I said, hopefully it won't be a flop. Like we're gonna support this film
Yep,
and we hope it does well.
definitely.
Um, but you know, that's just how we feel with alien films in general.
In
So
general, yeah.
yeah. So
Just our
we're gonna
opinion.
see if they bring it.
Yeah, just our opinion, how we feel about them. But I do have a question for you, Danny. How do you feel about writers writing themselves in a majority of the movie. Because obviously you have people that write screenplays and everything, and they're in parts of the movie or portion, but
Yeah.
some do like Marcus did in this one. He's in the entirety of the movie, so we at least it looks like he's a main character. How do you feel about that?
Um, honestly, like I see why you would do it. Um, I've done it, but again, like you said, I was the antagonist. I wasn't the entire, part of the movie. I intended to be, but I wasn't due to I wanted to, play that role. But I think it also takes a little bit out of it takes a little bit outside of the box to create a great character. So I think when you write a character for yourself specifically, it's not as challenging. You have your thoughts, and your thoughts are spurred out to this character, and you're not really like taking someone else's thoughts as opposed to like if you were playing the character someone else wrote. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
I
So
see.
that would be the only thing for me. It's like it's that tone that you're telling the story, but you're also telling what you want your character to say, and it's not going outside of the box, that spectrum. You're going to be kind of one note.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, uh, um,
So you're saying it
I
kind of limits you in that role, like if you do
it,
that, it
yeah,
boxes
and
you in a little bit.
in a way, yeah, it'll box you in like creativity,
Yeah, creative
creatively
wise.
wise,
Yeah.
and yeah, and I feel like it'll be more of a challenge to. That's why they always say you shouldn't write your own monologues, right? Because it's so much challenging and more rewarding. And you also find other things about yourself you didn't even know to memorize a monologue that someone else wrote, that's not even your own thoughts or your own words. Yeah.
Mm,
So, yeah, but have it worked and people have done it and it's brilliant? Yeah. I feel more comfortable with that than someone directing themselves. Like if it
mm,
said that, Marquise Houston was a director,
mm,
um, because in that aspect, it's like you definitely want more eyes.
yeah.
Either have a co-director or something. Like there's very few actors that have directed solely themselves. Ben Affleck is one, but like it's just like you gotta have someone else seeing and on the outside, as a performer in general. You want, because that's what your viewers are going to be watching on the outside, right?
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
yeah, but we're gonna see August 29th, see what's good.
Yep, for sure. We're gonna check it out. All right. Well, that wraps up our special scare show today. Thank you everybody for joining us. Again, final girls. Let us know who
Final
your favorite
girls,
final girls are.
let's go.
Um, we'd be interested to see if we missed someone that you thought should be, up on that list, or what. We'll be interested to see it. Also, definitely check out Run this Friday. It does look pretty good. Outside, the stuff we addressed with the whole alien reveal too soon and stuff. But Danny, any last words?
No, I'm excited. We going. 2025. We still got a lot more movies to talk about
Mm-hmm.
coming up. I'm super excited. The scaresodes in the future. So stay tuned. Please be sure to subscribe for sure.
Definitely. Where can they find you, Danny?
You can find me everywhere that I am Danny Roy.
You guys can find me at Alpha Boy with an I1. Again, everybody, thanks for joining us today. And we will see you next time. Take care, guys.
Peace.